Okay, so this is our door panel. I got it on my workbench now. You might want to put whatever area you're working on. Just put like a nice towel or something soft down so you won't damage the leather underneath here when you set it on there. Okay, so here's the speaker. Nothing special. Um, Really nice looking bracket here. This thing's like in there like Fort Knox. So, and here's like a piece of foam. This goes bad, and I'll show you. The other one, now the other door actually took it out. Actually it fell out from trying to work on the speaker. I'll try not to damage this one here, but this is like goo. If you start messing with it, it starts crumbling in your hands. I'm almost tempted just to take it out, but because I know it's gonna get worse. But we'll try to leave this intact. And then here's the connectors for your micro switches here again. And that's it. You see some of the connectors here, which holds the door panels to the door. There's there's those three screws go in the bottom here. Okay, make sure these don't fall off here. Okay. Door panel looks really nice. It's clean. Not a lot of contamination in here. So, okay, we'll start taking this speaker out. So we're going to take basically these screws out here. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those out, and then we'll remove the speaker assembly out. Okay, so we have all the screws removed. These are the screws. So they're all the same size, so nothing to worry about. You can put them back wherever. Each of these has 2 washers. So you remember that when you put it back together. Okay. We'll take these and put them over here. Okay. All right, here it is. So some of these were really, really tough to get out, but we got them. So just make sure you don't use a screwdriver too small because you'll strip them out. If you're using sonic tools, um, the screwdriver is number 1312. So anyway, so let's pull this out. It's going to be kind of stuck at first. You kind of got to wiggle it and it'll pop loose, which I already did. And there it is. You can see how the leather is pulled and glued back here. All right, there's the speaker assembly, and so you have these screws. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 of those, and they're like little bolts. And then here's the speaker grill on the other side. Okay, so we're going to disassemble all this. Since we're going aftermarket, we're going to have to make some modifications to this. Okay, but if you're going factory, then it's a very easy swap. So let me flip this over here. So I'm going to go ahead and take these nuts off here and remove all these and separate the speaker grill from the speaker now. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so we got all the bolts removed, the 7 bolts, and this is what they look like. And they each have 2 washers on each bolt and a nut. Okay, so we'll take these. All right, and it was a 7 millimeter socket that I used to get that off. So just in case, if you want to know, and we'll take this bracket off. Okay, and we'll set this to the side. Okay, so this is the speaker. So there's the connector where it connects in from the car, and I've never seen anything like this before, so I'm assuming this is a crossover that's built into the speaker here, and then it goes back and connects into the terminals. Yeah, for the speaker. There we go. So now what we need to do is we're going to remove this grill, and this thing's like got adhesive on it. This thing's like on there, like really solid. So what I have to do is right where this little split is right here, because I want to reuse this grill. So I'm gonna have to use like a like maybe a screwdriver or a hammer and kind of pry in between the speaker grill here itself and the base right here. This the metal cage of the woofer itself, and then just pry it apart. But just be careful, don't break this. And then so I can pull this off, and then I could reuse this for the other speaker. So let me do that now. Okay, so I got it separated. So basically what I did was, like I showed you, this area right here. Okay, I took a screwdriver like this, put it right in this area here. Don't put it right where this area is here because you could crack this right here. So put it over here, and then I just tapped it with a hammer in, and you'll start hearing the adhesive give away once you get it in a little ways. Then I just started prying up on it easy, and you can hear the adhesive giving way, and just started working my way around, and then just pulled it apart with my hands, and it's separated. And I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is all loose, and that's what we got. So this speaker was actually still playing, and it wasn't making any noises, believe it or not, but the other one was rattling. And to tell you something about the other speaker, when the owner of the car told me that he thought the speaker was blowed on the passenger side, um, I took the car, when I took the car in here at home, and tried to do a diagnosis on it, I didn't hear it rattling at all. So, but when I took it out for a test drive, I didn't hear it rattling at all, and I had the stereo blasting and everything. But when I got on the highway, it started rattling. So, I, if it wasn't for the highway, I almost was going to give it back to him because I was going to tell him that I didn't hear anything at all. But good thing I took it up on the highway. So, but anyway, so this speaker here was not making any noises at all, and look at it, it's completely destroyed. So, um, so I'm glad we changed it. So, what we'll go ahead and do, let's take a look at this. This is the foam right here, and it's like gooey and sticky, and it's nasty. And so we'll just take all this stuff and throw it in the garbage. So this speaker's shot, is done. Okay. All right. So we need to use this. This is the part we're going to use here, and we're going to use a terminal off of this. I'm going to take this off and modify it and use it to where we could plug this in on the passive crossover I'm fixing to put in for the other woofer. So I'm going to take this off, and then the is toast going in the garbage. This grill here, this foam here is deteriorated. It's sticky and it's gooey, and if you touch it, it's nasty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to modify this to get rid of this junk here, and then we're going to. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this grill, remove this piece here. There's 4 tabs back here. Right here, just bend those up, pull the grill off, and then it's going to expose on the grill. This is like glued on there, I guess, and basically going to take that off and clean that up. And then once the foam is off, this is going to be pretty predominant. You're going to see this through the grill, which we don't want. So I'm going to trim all this out, and then we're going to clean it up, and then put this grill back on. And I'll show you what that look like. So let me get started working on that right now. All right, so here's the grill after it's removed. Like I said, just the 4 tabs that's around here, just bend those up and it comes right off. This is the foam. You can probably see it's already bad, so I didn't touch it yet. So look, when you touch it, see, it's just already falling apart. It's like gooey and It's see how easy it comes off? I'm just barely touching it. See? So sooner or later, this is, I'm sure, it might start deteriorating and start falling off. But we're just going to get rid of this now, so we won't have any issues with it later. Okay, see, it's pretty nasty. It's just old. So, and then this, wow, this here, you can see I trimmed this piece out here. Now, I'm not recommending you do this. This is just something I did um, just for me to make it look better. So I trimmed this piece out here, and then what we're gonna do is take a Dremel, um, this tool right here. This is a cordless one, with a little sanding bit, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grind down all these little high spots here to make it nice and clean. You can use sandpaper or whatever, but that seems to work a little bit faster, that Dremel. So let me get these cleaned up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so got everything cleaned up. So you can see the grill. Uh, it's all cleaned up now. All the foam is gone. So basically all I did was just kind of brush it all the way with my hand. Got a rag with some mild dishwashing liquid and just scrubbed it real quick and dried it off, and there it goes. Looks pretty good. Okay, it's a lot better. And then here's this inner piece here, and you can see I kind of ground down all those little tabs that were sticking up. Just in case if you decide to do this, when I use this Dremel here, okay. Oh, I got a piece missing off here. I have to find that. Basically, when you do this, you don't want to, like, when you're grinding this, don't just hold it on there and grind it, because the plastic will start to melt and it doesn't do right. So what you want to do is kind of brush it, and it'll start to melt a little bit. By the time you let off and come back, it'll harden up again. So you're just constantly just grinding away at it. Okay. So don't just hold it there and just, because it'll start melting like crazy. Okay. All right. Put that back. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're going to assemble this together. And if you notice, remember I said there was 4 tabs on here. Okay. One of them is smaller than the other, and you notice that this one is a lot smaller. So on this assembly here, there's one that's smaller than the other, and this is a smaller one here. So we're going to line those 2 tabs up just like that. What that is. Okay. So we line those up, then flip it over, and then we're just going to bend these tabs over. Okay. I use just like a little flathead screwdriver and just push it over, all 4 of these, and it'll be good to go. Okay, let me do that now. All right, there it is. So you can see I got it all assembled now. This is the outer ring, and here's the grill itself, and there's the tabs. They're all bent over. Okay, it's not loose or anything like that, so looks pretty good. Now let me set to the side right here real quick. Just set it there and show you the speaker. So this is a JBL GX608C, and basically this is overkill for the stereo, but the reason why I chose this speaker here is because of the dimensions of it. It's not too deep. Of course, it's a 6.5-inch size woofer, but this magnet is a little over 3 inches in diameter, and so it fits in the hole which is in the door. Fits in there pretty good. Let me show you. And this is the hole here. So it's a little over 3 inches in diameter. So like I said, the magnet fits in there pretty good. It's not too deep and it's not too wide. It's not hitting on anything. So I have to trim nothing out. So it fits perfect. Okay. So that is the reason why I chose this. So anyway, basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the, let me go get the other speaker real quick here. Let me see. Okay, here's the original. And I'm going to take this connector off here. I have to desolder these joints. And then what I'm going to do is, this is, it's got a little tab on here which is melted on the back side. I'll just take a little screwdriver here, a flathead, and just pop it off. And then like these little tabs right here, I'll just take an X-Acto knife and just clean those up. And I'm going to take on this side here, and there's a crossover. Let me show you the crossover. So here's the crossover, and I'm going to take this on this side here, and I'm going to adhese it on this side so it'll be just right here. But this is the crossover. It did have a case around it. It was pretty big and bulky, and I was having a hard time trying to locate it in here somewhere without interfering with other components when I put it back on the car. So I decided to go ahead and just take the case off. I mean, there's no moving parts or anything on here. And we'll just adhesive this straight to the door panel, probably right here. We'll just glue it right in there, and it'll be fine. So there's no, don't worry about no water or anything in there. So we'll just put that right there, and then we'll just wire all this up in here. And I'll go ahead and do that now, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, before I wire this up, I just want to let you know that there's something I need to tell you is that you have to pay attention to is the speaker grill. You can see I got it all together now. See, I have, and I just used the original bolts on here. I just used one washer though. You have two different washers that come with it. Let me see if I can, well anyway. One's smaller and thicker, and then one's bigger and thinner. I just used the big thinner one, okay? And I just put the nut on it. I put the washer on this side here. Just snugged it down. You can feel it tighten up. Don't tighten it too much because you'll crush it right there. There's a space there. You'll crush it all the way, and you'll warp the cage. So you don't want to just snug it down really good, and it's not going anywhere. So there's 4 bolts in there. Okay. But one thing you want to be careful with is the grill. Now the grill, if you can see this in the video, see the lines going in here? That's something that's in the grill itself. I'm thinking maybe they sprayed some adhesive or something when they put that foam in there, and I don't know what it is, but it's in the grill itself. So you want to make sure that those lines are horizontal. That way when you mount it in the door, it won't look crazy. It won't be like angled or anything like that. It's nice and like it was originally. Okay, so the way to do that is where we pried it up, there's this little tab right here. That's where we stuck the screwdriver to pry it off the original speaker. This little tab right here, it has to be positioned between this bracket here and this little piece of this bracket coming out here. So as long as you put it between these two here and tighten it down, it'll look horizontal when it's mounted in the car. So something to let you know, because if you don't do that, you have to take it back apart again and redo it. So just something, I'm kind of picky about it. Some people might not care, but I just want it to look like it did. Like it matches the other side, like it did originally in the car. So, and also I got this piece finished over here. This is the crossover. This is the original connector that was on the original speaker. And you can see here, I just trimmed some of the tabs off the side here, cleaned it up a little bit. And then what I do is I use some hot glue right here and glue that on right here. So I'll put some glue on the bottom and on the side and just stuck it down on there. It sits on this little tab on this other side over here, so it's got a good bite on there, so it's on there really nice and strong. Okay. All right, so that's how that looks. So now that we finished this, now I can go ahead and let me get this glued down, get the speaker mounted in the door panel, and let me see if I can get it wired up, and I'll show you what that looks like. Well, here we go. We got it. Here's the woofer. It is now mounted in the door panel. And then you can see it's wired over here to the crossover. And you see I got it wired up. See how I got the original factory connector soldered in there? So it's all connected up. Looks pretty good. Just got it going through the foam. The foam is like falling apart as soon as I try to, to wire it through it. So I'm just trying to be careful not to touch it. I probably should just rip it out, but so basically that's it. It's in there. Everything's soldered all the joints up, so it shouldn't have any problem coming loose. So it looks very good. Yeah. One thing I did notice too when we were doing the micro switches on the door, um, there might be another way. Well, I'm sure there probably is that you could take that handle and take it out without removing the micro switches. So you can probably take these two. Looks like, oh, they look like maybe 10 millimeters. It could be 8. These little nuts right here, and remove these connectors, which are hooked to these right here, and just pull it through. And that might be an easier way to do it. I mean, the switches are not that hard. They're super easy to take in and out. So either way, you could probably do it that way. So, but yeah, looks good. Looks really good. So now we can start putting this door panel back in and get her fired up.